Right, the IPL is over, but there's no editor this time to send me a list of players. We're going to look at every single team of the IPL. And so here are the marks. We'll start with RCB. I think for years we've now seen Virat Kohli and AB de Villiers and all the drama, some of the best crowds in the world. But eventually you need to produce results. RCB have the players, make no mistake. Maybe they just need to rethink the way they're approaching the cricket. Maybe need to give Virat Kohli just a bit of a rest. He must be tired with leading teams everywhere. I don't know what the answer is, but the fact is that it's another year they haven't delivered, and what they get is just a 3. Now, the team that disappointed me the most, Rajasthan Royals. When we did the preview at the start, we said they had all bases covered. The only problem with RR was, what will they do when their overseas players go away? But what did they do while their overseas players were in? Very little. There was Butler at the top. We now realize in retrospect that Samson and Steve Smith and Ajinkya Rahane in the top 4 wasn't working, that Ben Stokes is almost certainly going back into the auction next year. Jaydev Unadkat and Dhaval Kulkarni didn't quite get it right. They had a good season for Shreyas Gopal, but they're a much, much better team than what they finally achieved. So, 3. Now, my next one might surprise some of you. I'm going to give Kings 11 a 5. I don't think we've raised any eyebrows at all if Kings 11 had finished last. I think they made the most of all the resources that they had. I thought Gale, Rahul, to some extent, Mayank Agarwal, Ashwin led the side wonderfully. Mohammad Shami was excellent, but you see that very little by way of support. A little bit from Murugan Ashwin here and there, Sam Curran the odd game, but they didn't have much to play with. I'm giving them 5. As indeed, I'm giving the Kolkata Knight Riders. Their first 11 on paper, excellent, but far too many big players. Dinesh Karthik had an off-season, Robin Uthappa, Piyush Chawla, so many of their big players had an off-season. And so I'm afraid I'm going to have to go with 5. When they come back next year, KKR will have to find many more reserve players. You got the feeling through this tournament that KKR was stuck with the players that they had. Okay, let's move on. And I'm looking at Sunrisers Hyderabad. I like that side. I think it's got its heart in the right place. They selected wonderfully. They had options everywhere. Bairstow and Warner were the opening pair of the tournament. But then what happened? Their Indian contingent, I'm afraid, has let them down very badly. And they're going to have to look very carefully at the role of Vijay Shankar, of Deepak Hooda, of Yusuf Pathan, of Sandeep Sharma, of Siddharth Kaul. They didn't get a lot from there. So in spite of having Johnny Bairstow, in spite of having David Warner, in spite of having Rashid Khan, they only just scraped in and finished there just 5. They were a disappointment for me. They're a much, much better side. With the same side, they'll probably get an 8 or a 9 next year. Okay, it's getting close now. We'll come on to the Delhi Capitals. The Delhi Capitals, 8 this year. I just love the way the Delhi Capitals played. They used their core Indian players really well, got a lot out of their bowlers. I thought they were pretty well led by Shreyas Iyer. I thought the support staff was very strong, but they get 8 more than anything else because they turned around a feeling that irrespective of who the Delhi Capitals have, the Delhi Daredevils as they will come a cropper. They've always had good teams, but this year they wrote the jinx almost, so 8 for them. Now, the Chennai Super Kings. Some of you have been following my tweets, realize how much admiration I have for what they put together. And I'm going to make an admission here. You go player by player. That team from the Chennai Super Kings may not have qualified. It wasn't the best team on paper. There were too many people who you thought were over the hill, but they had one glue, one gum, some big occasion players. But I just thought they ran a magnificent campaign, very emotional with all their fans surrounding them, and they had the captain of the tournament in MS Dhoni. Given what they had to achieve what they did, I'm actually going a full 10 with the Chennai Super Kings because I think they overachieved to come to the final. That might seem a controversial statement, but you look down player to player, I think they've actually done magnificently, which leaves us with the winning side. I actually debated whether to give them 9 or to give them 10 because I thought they were in terms of match winners, they had them strewn all over. They're just the top match winners in the tournament. What I loved the most about the Mumbai Indians was that they didn't rely on one player. You got the impression in the past, what if Rohit doesn't? What if Kyron Pollard doesn't. What if Jasprit Bumrah doesn't? Not so this year. Quinton de Kock scored more runs. Hardik Pandya won the matches. Krunal Pandya bowled some good spells. Surya Kumar got a man. Yadav got a man of the match. McLennan came and bowled the odd good spell. Alzari Joseph got 6 for 12. They always had bowlers all around. And the captain had one bowler he could look to whenever he had a problem, and Jasprit Bumrah delivered. He was the bowler of the tournament for me. I know Imran Tahir got all the wickets, but Bumrah was the bowler of the tournament, and Rohit Sharma was joint tied with MS Dhoni as the captain of the tournament. Mumbai Indians get a perfect 10 as well.